I got a pocket full of money and a head full of dreams, body full of ambition, blessed to see the sunbeam. Wake up to a world where they wanna tear you down, but for everyone that hated, look at where we at now. I ain't got time to waste to act with much haste, cause when God made me, he made no mistakes. Where the focus at? What a hope for the hopeless at? It's what I stand for when I lay it on the track. And say the world need people like we, cause when I get in my zone, you cannot stop me. Call it ultimate favor or ultimate grace. I'd rather be an asset than be taking up space. There be times at night when I be sitting and vibing, getting my car, my windows down while I'm driving, thinking about how to change the world around me and try to leave it better than the way that it found me.
So welcome to another episode of Barber Studio Talk. I'm partnered with RC and Benny, and so today we got some stuff that we want to talk about. And there's several months that they have. I think it's a month of May where they talk about men's mental health, or June, they talk about this stuff. But we want to bring it and continue the conversation about mental health, because it's not something that goes away. It's not something that you just talk about in 1 month, 1 day, and you be okay for the rest of the year. So I just wanted to open up just by asking y'all brothers, because look, we almost through another year.
Right.
Like it'll be 2024 before we know it.
Yeah.
And a lot has happened in 2023, right? A lot has changed in all of our lives. So how y'all doing? RC, how you doing, man?
Man, it's cliche to say you good. I really am good. I think for me, I've worked on focusing on myself more than others, because I've spent a lot of time in my life focusing on other people, pouring into them. And then during that time, everything I was giving them, I needed for myself. Mm-hmm. So I'm focusing on myself and monitoring the way I use social media, the way I interact with certain people, because everybody ain't on what you own, and their energy could be in a different spot, different place. But I just try to make sure that I'm not letting what somebody else going through rub off on me, or trying to solve every answer to every question that anybody have. But I'm for the first time in my life, I'm in a really good mental space. Mm-hmm. Physically, I'm always gonna be there because I work my butt off. But I want to work just as hard as I do in that gym. I want to work on the mental part of that. So I'm doing good.
Good, man. Good. Benny?
Man, I can say I'm at the point where I need a break.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real now.
Hey, look, that's what you should be doing.
Yeah,
right?
Mentally, I'm about gassed out mentally. So I'm at that point where I just need to sit down and have a reset, refocus. But I'm good, but I need to reset, right, so I can come back charged up. Mm-hmm. So physically, I need to get back on it. If you want to give numbers out, I'm probably about a 75 right now.
75, yeah.
75. I can do what I do, but
that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
And look, so my next question was gonna be, would you be okay with admitting you're not okay?
Yeah, I am. I've gotten to a place where that's important to do. I can't help you if you're lying. Like, you're not only lying, I'm not only lying to you, I'm lying to God. So how can he bless me or put people around me to help me if I'm lying about who I've been there? Just trying to, because that's what men do. We've been raised to be, not raised, but we just adapt to environments.
Yeah, yep.
Mm-hmm.
And we take on too much, and I've done that. So I ain't gonna lie to myself no more, or to God. If I'm not good, I'm not good. I'm good now.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm encouraged by it, because, you get on a stage and you got cameras going, and people eventually see what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. And it's a vulnerable thing. Say you 75%. Mm-hmm. Say you not where you want to be at this point in time. But isn't everybody?
Everybody.
It's just that, because, growing up, I was in church whenever I was young, got away from church, and then I'm back in the church now, and it was not common for people to say they were not okay. We would go to church on Sundays and act like everything was okay.
Yeah.
And leave broken.
Right.
Leave miserable. Because we went in there shouting, but came out the same.
Yeah.
Because we didn't do the real work.
That
Helps us heal. Like taking a break.
Right.
Like, it's okay to let somebody else do it.
Right.
It's okay to say you ain't, and I ain't, and listen, I'll tell you no and I'll be at the house.
Right, that's me. Yeah,
Kendall ain't got nothing going on, but for my mental health, for my peace of mind, so that I can be who I need to be to go out there and do what I'm supposed to be doing, I'll say no to some stuff because I'm not always okay. And I'm not saying I'm not always okay, like I need to be checked in a facility. I know there's layers to it. And hear me say this, we're not here as mental health professionals.
No, not at all.
Right.
We're not trying to give you no advice on how to treat yourself. What we're doing is talking as men.
Brothers.
Having conversations about where we are for real in our lives. And it's okay to talk about the mental health space. Like some days I just don't feel it. There's some days, man, I wish I could just lay in this bed and not have to deal with nobody, not have to fool with people, not have to be responsible for nothing. But the challenge is, how do you overcome it and still push forward, right? How do you say, I'm not going to let this break me, I'm not going to let this stop me? Many of us don't like to admit that we're tired. It's okay to be tired. Listen, I'm saying Jesus, the greatest man, the greatest God, like the only God that I know, walked this earth and got tired.
Most definitely. Yeah.
Many people skip over the fact that he asked God to let this cup pass from him.
Skip past it.
As if he didn't have no emotions.
Right.
He was dealing with some mental stuff at that time.
Right.
Like so much so to where he's like he got blood coming out of him. So distressed.
Yes.
And we act like I ain't Jesus by no means. That's why I let folk deal with their own stuff sometimes. Sometimes I can't help you.
Ain't got nothing to do with it.
Because I don't have the capacity right now to help you and me.
Right.
And be what I'm supposed to be for my wife. Be what I'm supposed to be for my kids. Be what I'm supposed to be for the call on my life. So I'm okay with saying, man, I just ain't on it today.
Yep.
And then I need people around me like y'all that I can come to and share that with, and then you don't see me any different because I told you I wouldn't at my best. I told you that I'm struggling in my marriage. I ain't say struggling in my marriage doing crazy stuff. I'm struggling in my marriage just trying to get to the next level in it.
Yep.
Struggling health-wise. I know I need to talk to RC, right? Because he said he go hard in the gym.
He go hard.
I rarely go to the gym.
I'm getting that.
You know what I'm saying? So I need some help. I need somebody to be there for me. And look, I shared something. This is why it's so important. I shared something on social media the other day and I had to go find it. And I said this, if you don't work through your own personal issues, it'll show up in unhealthy ways towards others.
That's right.
That's why mental health is so important.
Right.
Because you run a business, got people that work in your establishment.
Yep.
Imagine getting 25% and still having to come here and show up and be.
It's finna shut down in here.
Somebody gonna feel it.
Yeah.
Imagine you not being where you're supposed to be. And you got a kid at home that thinks the world of you.
Right. Right.
But mentally, you ain't where you need to be. You tired, you drained, you frustrated because life be
been
happening. There. You know, I heard somebody say life be lifing.
I've been there.
Right? And then now they get the bad end because we didn't work through our own personal issues.
Right.
Saying stuff you don't really mean.
Right.
And that's where it comes from. And so one thing that I think that we need to make sure we have a constant conversation on this show about is mental health, because many people don't realize that the stigma keeps us silent.
Yep.
If I say something wrong with me mentally,
crazy.
oh, you crazy.
You crazy.
No, I'm not.
That's within our community though. We misguided when it comes to that.
Misguided.
Like everybody deals with mental illness.
Yep.
Like
in some capacity.
Yes. I mean, everybody has a breaking point. Everybody has a bad day, and it's okay. You know, it was one point in time in my life I didn't think it was okay to have bad days because I was leading people. You know, but like I said earlier, standing in front of folks, leading a boot camp or a sweat camp, and everything I'm giving them I need. Physically, I'm okay, but mentally, I'm not. So I'm just there as a zombie.
Yep.
Have y'all ever encouraged people
All the time.
and helped people and
While
you were struggling yourself?
Yes, indeed.
All the time.
I'm talking about,
man.
if they could have seen the rain cloud, they'd got the hell
I
out
have
of the way.
no idea.
Man, listen.
You have no
Pouring
idea
down
what
on
I'm
me.
going through.
Right. That's most people, though, if you think about it. The football coach, he leading the team.
But going through hell at home.
He afraid he's going to get fired.
He got some stuff he dealing with.
Come on, bro.
And so here's the thing, especially for men, why it's so important for us to talk about this, because men are designed by God to be leaders.
Right.
Not that women aren't. I'm saying, but the head of your family.
That is true.
Right? And if you're all over the place mentally, You may just be going through the motions and living life, but your family is suffering as a result of it.
So you think every man, or you just say certain men?
All men.
You think so?
Yes, sir.
I think all men too.
Why, so tell me why you so you saying are you looking at the man the way you see him or the way God see him?
I'm looking at the way I see him, I'm be honest, but I'm gonna ask you this.
Yeah,
So-
just be real.
You got MVPs and you got six men. You got guys that ain't gonna ever get off the bench. So every man don't have the ability to lead. Born into this world, I don't think every man have the ability to lead. Like I think I look at myself as an MVP. Like I know I've done it, I've walked it. But there's that guy who is shy, that want to play small. Like it may be in him, but I don't know if they know how to use it or comfortable being out there out front. Every man can't be no husband. Every man can't be no coach. You think so?
So listen, so I get it. I just disagree. And the reason why I disagree is because I believe you can learn that.
So you think the six man can learn how to be the MVP?
Now you talking about sports.
Oh, but it's still.
I see how you trying to say
I
it.
see
Yeah,
how you word
I see how you trying to say
but
it.
the reality, this is why I believe this. This is why I believe it. Is because although I was given by God some gifts, that don't make me a leader because I'm gifted.
Right. Okay.
I believe leadership is what your shirt says, influencer.
Right.
And all people are leading. Some people leading folks down the wrong path.
Right. Okay.
I think direction determines what type of leader you become.
Yep.
Because everybody's leading. Like people on side the road, people that's out there doing stuff they ain't got no business doing, they're leading because somebody saw that and said, oh, you know what? That looks good. I know some rappers that are leaders. They're just not the kind of leader that I want to be.
Even a homeless. It's a homeless leader out there.
Yeah.
Right. I agree.
And so I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I'm looking at it differently.
So I'm saying leadership is a skill set, in my opinion,
Right.
that can be cultivated, that can be worked on, that can be built. And I think that comes in community, right? So if you get around the right type of people that you want to be, or you see yourself like, that's nice, I like that, I like how you move, so if you're a speaker, go get around speakers.
Right.
If you're a husband, go get around husbands. Now, everybody's not going to be vocal now. So if you want other men to be vocal, to be outgoing, to be outspoken, then that's not what I'm talking about, because some people naturally are not that way.
Right.
But as it relates to, they got some guys that if you see them come in a room, you'll never hear them talk. But if you go behind closed doors and get with them, you'll be amazed at what they know and how well they lead at home, how well they lead in certain spaces. So I just think we're disconnected on, I think we're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
You're just looking at the gifted part of, like, Michael Jordan. I know Scotty could never be Mike.
Right.
That ain't what I'm talking. I know Steve Kerr could never be Mike.
Right.
That's not what I'm saying.
But I guess what I'm saying, Scotty's not ever going to be the leader Mike is in a locker room. Nobody ever looked at him as a franchise player. That's what I'm saying. So when I'm talking about leadership, I can hang out with guys who are husbands, but that don't mean they actually doing the
right thing.
They just got the title.
Oh yeah, ain't no doubt. Now, we not gonna disagree. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Oh, so
I agree with that.
So I'm with you on that, dog. Like
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. They got a lot of people out there that just had a wedding.
Just got the
You know
title.
that it look flashy, it look good for the public, but ain't really walking the walk behind closed doors. That ain't who I'm talking about.
Yeah,
But I'm saying there's some quiet men
Right.
that are great leaders. They're just not outspoken.
Right.
They just may not be the ones that's
They
out
lead
front.
by action.
Yeah, they
There you
lead
go.
by action. Yeah,
There you
yeah.
go.
Gotcha.
And so here's another thing, like from a mental health side of it, is that when you say the shyness, some guys are shy, some guys are more reserved. Like, what I think does us a disservice is expecting everybody to be the same.
Right.
Right? So that's another part.
That word expecting.
Expectation. Like,
Oh my God.
expecting Benny to be like me,
Right.
put some undue pressure on him that he was never designed to live up to.
Yep.
Right.
And so how many people looking at social media, here we go,
Yeah.
that are depressed, that are struggling mentally, because they're looking at something that was never designed for them, but they want that.
Want it.
Like you want what you see somebody else with, not
Right.
knowing that God graced them to have that. So now you all over the place mentally. And I told y'all before, Love Yours is one of my favorite songs. Because J. Cole said ain't no such thing as a life that's better than yours.
Right.
So do y'all think social media and the expectations that the world puts on us or that we put on ourselves can affect us mentally?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, social media is really affecting us because it's that element of pressure. People want to do things that they're not designed to do again.
Mm-hmm.
That's not you.
Right.
You have to be who you are and who you're designed to be. People don't understand their callings.
Mm-hmm.
We're not all called to do the same thing.
That's it.
If I didn't do my calling, I don't know what I'd be doing. I thought I was supposed to be a band director.
Mm-hmm.
Mentally, I thought I was supposed to be doing what my daddy did.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But my calling was to be a barber.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The leadership on the other side was a whole nother thing.
Mm-hmm.
That come through from playing the drums and being a percussion leader. I had no clue that I would be an owner, but I saw it when I got older.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You got to understand this stuff mentally, what your calling is,
Mm-hmm.
not what someone is telling you.
Yep. So talk about that from a perspective of, not living up to expectations of that band director. Like what? Because the reality is that does something to you too. Right?
It was tough because I wanted to be like my daddy. I looked up to my father. Everything he did, I wanted to be. And when I couldn't really understand the music like he did, it hit me because I was like, dang, I can't do this, man. So I had to change my major. Self-esteem started getting low. Now I'm doing all these different majors. I'm still trying to get out of college because I don't know what I'm supposed to be.
Right.
Until I accepted who I really was. Once I got out of college and graduated, I accepted it. And I'm supposed to be a barber.
Yeah.
So I realized I don't waste it, but I didn't waste.
And it takes you going through that journey.
Had to go through that journey. Had to fall. I hit rock bottom. That's what people don't understand. When I say I hit rock bottom, I hit rock bottom. I was staying in Jackson, trying to chase and do all of this stuff and do all the things that I wasn't called to do.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
Lost everything.
I love it.
Then bought a car, lost it. Got repos.
Love it.
God sent me back here.
Love it.
Had no choice
Yes, sir.
but to go back to doing this.
Yes, sir.
No choice.
Yes, sir.
Now look, yeah.
And one thing that he talked about that I think was the foundation of it is the identity crisis.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know who they are.
Right? Because
Yeah.
when you don't know who you are, that adds more pressure.
Right. I struggled with
Like,
that.
because if I don't know who I am, because listen, I struggled with it for years.
Yeah, me too.
Trying to figure out who I was.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a spiral that never stopped
Right.
spinning
Right.
because I was from one thing to the next.
Right.
So that's why you can't come to me and tell me what you think I'm supposed to be doing.
Come on.
Not today.
I get it all the time. RC, you
Oh
need
man,
to
you
do
need to
this.
be.
Yeah.
You need,
Yeah.
Man, come on, man. If
Please.
God, let's talk to Him first now.
Come on, man.
And so the identity part of it, because you just elaborated perfectly how you had to figure out who you were,
Yep.
what you were good at,
Yep.
what you were gifted to do, and look at what God has done in the process. Because it all started with your identity.
Yes.
Because what hurts us is when we don't live up to something, when we don't measure up. Because I think that's what people are struggling at mentally, like men that feel defeated, men that feel like they're not good enough because their expectations of what they should be
Right.
are not what they are.
Right.
Whenever they may be unrealistic anyway.
Right.
So talk about your journey on how you got to this place where you're comfortable being you.
Like I said, I was into a lot of different things, just following the blueprint of other people. Coaching. I don't like people to call me a motivational speaker because, I told you I heard you speak and I realized I just be talking. It's a big difference.
Come on, bro.
You go up, you did your deal, I came behind you, I was like, I'm way off. I like to talk. It's a difference. And so, like I said, doing the sweat camps and coaching and mentoring, that was what everybody was doing. But when I was doing it empty. Everything I'm giving these people, they don't know it because I did a good job of masking it. I needed it for myself. Mm-hmm. That's not who you listen. You're doing it for them. What are you doing for yourself? What are you doing? Are you doing what God wants you to do? Mm-hmm. And so, my thing was my journey was different because I had to realize, hey, I'm losing more than I'm gaining by exerting myself in certain things and trying to help everybody, but I need the help. I need to fix me. And the only way I was able to fix me, man, one day, I talked about this before to you, I was having a bad day and wanted to take my life because of a bad day. I'm sitting in my car, like I said, all the thoughts in my head of how I wanted to do it had me scared because I'm scared to die. Everything was too painful. So it was a cowardly. It was just I was having a bad day. And then all those feelings, then my mom called and the conversation changed. But when I got off the phone with her, I felt horrible. Like I was just having a bad day. But in that moment, I realized, bro, I got to get me together because I got myself spread too thin, trying to help everybody else. Let me help me. And once I was able to, go to God with it, and then sit with myself with it, I was able to go, like you said, reset, rejuvenate, and come back a better me. It took a while. I didn't want to deal with nobody. I didn't want to date nobody until I was able to get to a place where I was able to, focus on myself and be better and be my true self in that element. Now I do it freely.
Right.
So you know how I would just love to know, because I know there are numbers because I experienced it. Man, how many people struggle with that still to this day?
Yeah. Bad days turn into the last day.
Because so many times the pressure of life can make us think that it won't get better.
Yeah.
But if you've lived long enough to know, this is what I heard T.D. Jakes say. T.D. Jakes say, whenever you give up, you're not giving up on your past. You're giving up on your future.
Right.
Where you've never been. You don't even know what's there.
Right.
You have no idea how good God has it for you on the other side of depression, on the other side of this mental issue that you're dealing with. And so what we want to make sure is that we understand, we address it, because we feel it, we see it, we all get emotional, we all have up and down days, but don't let that make you quit.
Right.
Because somebody's depending on you
Right.
to keep moving.
I felt that too. That was the reason why that conversation, she don't know to this day, she know I love her, but I know it was God making her place that call and to change my mindset and outlook, because it felt like I was going to let down more than just her. And like what it did was too, man, to anybody that deals with that is I opened up and kind of talked to more people because I was closed off. Because when you go tell somebody you're struggling with something, like you said, they automatically say, something wrong with you. And no, ain't nothing wrong with me. I just need to be honest about what I'm going through,
Right.
Versus pretending like I'm okay.
Yeah, because one of the things that spirals out of control is whenever your mental state is off, instead of you talking to somebody, the next thing you do is go try to cope with it.
Right.
Yep.
Go lay down.
And the coping mechanism that you use
Drinking, smoking.
is unhealthy.
Yeah.
So now you done developed another habit on top of this habit, and now it's like, okay, where do I get any relief? Because everything that I'm trying is making this situation that much worse.
It's a temporary fix.
It's a temporary fix.
It's going to come right back to you.
And that's the hard part, because men, this bravado, like you said, I work out, and although you could have a strong
Physical.
exterior, but man, that don't help your mind.
It don't help your mind.
Nope.
I'm talking about, I don't care how strong, you can go in there and bench press 500 pounds.
Ain't got nothing to do with what's going on in that brain.
And can't get the pressure of life off.
Can't do it.
And here's what I always encourage. I believe we were never created to carry the weight we carry.
No.
Not by ourselves. So my relationship with God has helped heal me.
Right.
Helped give me a different perspective than I had prior to it. So that's why whenever I'm having hard days, because I'm talking about they come.
Yes, regularly.
I know that there's a God in heaven that values, that loves me, that says, Kendall, this is not the end. This is only a process that you're going through to help you get to where I want you to be. And then I also got people in my life, man. You say you isolated, the problem that we have, they make us think we the only one with them.
Right.
Not knowing that, man, listen, I was talking to a financial advisor not long ago. 'Cause everybody rich now. This is what I'm saying.
Everybody rich.
You turn on social media, I'm talking about everybody millionaires. Ain't nobody got no financial struggles. Don't nobody deal with anything that's hard, and inflation is high. Make me understand how that happens. And so I was struggling trying to put the pieces together. And he said, man, look, you in good shape. You just not realizing that you didn't factor in X, Y, and Z. And bro, just talking to him
Helped you.
gave me clarity.
Yeah.
Just talking to him let me know, oh, this is just a season. This ain't the end. And so many men struggle in silence because they don't want to be judged. They don't want to be looked like they're less than a man.
Right.
Whenever they don't know the person that if you go talk to them, y'all got so much in common.
Yeah.
Because y'all probably dealing with some similar stuff.
The same stuff.
As if only we would open up.
You know how we rap. We know how we rap.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of us going to the bar and get wasted, man, let's go talk about life.
Yeah.
Right.
Because after you get finished being drunk, and I ain't tripping. Listen, I ain't knocking nobody and they have it. I ain't talking about, I'm just saying, I know that don't fix you.
Right.
Because when you wake up off of that high,
It's sitting right there.
when you wake up off of that being you drunk,
That same problem.
whatever you left there, it's still
there.
there whenever you get back. It's like seeing a bill come in the mail, and I ain't gonna pay it. You know, 'cause that's what we like to do.
Bro, I remember when I hit rock bottom, I went back to Alcorn, drunk myself to death pretty much. I was sick for 4 days. My brother had to come out there and get me. I couldn't move. Guess what? That problem was still there. I done lost everything.
And it makes us run from. See, I'm not. See, the vacation that you referring to that you need to help you get back to 100 is not you running from problems.
Right.
That's you resting.
Yep.
Like even Jesus encouraged us to rest. Listen, okay, so here's another thing that I want to share. Like, so this question, man, like come to me, and I know it with nobody but God. So in the Bible, you know, I talked about God made this and he said it was good. Like he went through the 7 days and he did this. He sky, the earth, he did all that stuff. Like, but at the end of it, at the end of every day, he said it was good. And man, this question come to me years ago. Kendall, when you gonna get to a place where you could say it's good? Like you done all you were supposed to do today. Because I go to bed thinking I should have done more. I heard a guy talk about Martin Luther King in his documentary. During the documentary, he said, man, Martin Luther King felt like it was never enough.
Yep.
Man, you know how depressing that is?
He had the heart of a 50-year-old man. He was
You know,
stressed out.
you know how depressing that is? You know how stressful that is? For everything that you do, you don't think it's good enough?
That's stressful, man.
You could be okay in life, doing well, and your own thoughts, your own expectations, the pressures of social media and the highlights everybody show are making us feel like, man, I should be doing more. And I'm not talking to lazy folks.
Yeah.
So that's not who I'm talking about. And I'm not talking to people that don't have the get up and go. I'm talking about the folks that are doing the best they can and still find themselves wondering, man, is this enough? So for men, and this is another show that I don't think, because that's why we got to talk about it. So if you get tired of hearing it, just get tired of hearing it, because we're going to talk about mental health. We're going to have women on the show eventually to talk about mental health, to help us understand the dynamics of what it's like to be a mama, what it's like to be a wife, what it's like to be an employee, what it's like to be a business owner, all that stuff. You don't get to run from that.
Right.
You got to do all that.
Right.
Right? And so I'm thankful that I get a chance to sit up here on this stage with two brothers that's okay, that's doing well in life, but's not afraid to admit,
Nope.
man, sometimes it get hard. Sometimes I don't always have the answer. Sometimes life hits me just like it hits everybody else. And I'm telling you, it's only by the grace of God that I can get up every day and do what I do. That's why I don't like talking about nobody. That's why I don't like pointing the finger at other people, because you don't know all the details to that person's life, and all we see is the struggle that they have, not realizing, like, dang, I could easily be in those shoes. So, man, listen, from me to y'all, man, appreciate y'all for sharing it, because somebody gonna hear it, somebody's gonna listen to it and be like, you know what, if they made it out, so can I.
Yep.
And if we can help one person do that, I think we're doing our service to God by doing this. So that wraps us up for another episode. Thank y'all for joining. Thank y'all for tuning in. And listen, mental health is not something we need to shy away from. It's something that we really, really need to talk about. I encourage you to go get with a counselor, go get with a therapist, have conversation with your inner circle and people that you know love you and care about you, so that you can get the hope, the help, and the healing that you need to be the best version of yourself. Thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, and share. We'll see y'all next time.
Sitting and vibing, getting my car, my windows down while I'm driving, thinking about how to change the world around me and try to leave it better than the way that it found me.